at a press conference yesterday in the Oval Office, you know who, didn't even wait for CNN's Kaitlan Collins to ask a question before launching into a temper tantrum. Take a look.
We are going to be showing over the coming weeks and months, you're not even going to believe. Some of you will believe it, like CNN will believe it because they knew what was going on. They're crooked as hell. CNN's a very corrupt organization, but with a corrupt reporter standing right there. Never smiles. She never smiles. She's a young, beautiful woman, never smiles. I never see a smile off her face. I see her standing there with hatred in her eyes, like she has hatred because we have borders, because we have a strong military, because we cut our taxes, because we do things that everybody wanted, and then we win our election in a massive landslide. You should be ashamed of yourself. You used to be a conservative. She was a conservative from Alabama, can you believe it? But CNN, in particular, CNN does such false reporting. But now they have new ownership, so maybe it'll straighten it out. I doubt it, but it's hard to straighten garbage out.
She handled herself very well.
Yes.
But I have to question, what is his problem? I mean, what is his problem with women? What is this administration's problem with women? They're trying to remove women from every place they are. They insult them. What is it?
Misogyny, maybe? He's a misogynist. I mean, I think we all know that. And what I took specific umbrage at is like, she never smiles. Men are never asked to smile. Men are never asked to smile. But I, in my career, when I was practicing law, was often told, you should smile more, which is an unbelievable thing. But I also take a bit of umbrage at the other reporters there, because, by the way, the other reporters weren't smiling, the men weren't smiling, and he mentioned that. But I do feel that when one of your colleagues is attacked in that way, a follow-up question should have been, or a statement, someone in the room, maybe one of the men, should have said, sir, you should not speak to her that way.
Well,
and I would have liked to have seen that.
I'm gonna disagree with you, because I think the job of reporters is not to react to that kind of nonsense, right? And I think the whole thing is, when you're a reporter, the story shouldn't be about you.
That
and when
true.
it is, it's
when you're a good reporter.
When you're a good reporter, but not. Well, yeah, that's fair. But but it's really hard. I mean, one of the things, I know Kaitlan really well, and she attacks Maggie Haberman, a whole bunch of people I know really well, and to react is where you lose in that game, because with these people, every accusation is a confession. Yeah. So what he is saying is about him and not about her. Right. And I thought she handled it well. She has to be absolutely, she says nothing. She made a little joke about Alabama, which was fantastic. But the minute you say something, you get dragged into it in a way that he benefits and you don't.
What about the other reporters? Do you think maybe they should have said?
Nobody should say anything.
Because I think this administration is so aberrant. I think they are just so... It's just such an abnormal situation. I don't know that you play by the rules that we used to play by.
Because that becomes the story then, the fight between him and her. If she responds,
although it's already the story.
But, yes, but no, it's not, because she then asked a question. By the way, what was really interesting is she hadn't asked a question.
She hadn't said anything.
But she then got on a question about the slush fund, and then he answered in a very different way from Todd Blanche. So she got what she needed, which was the news. She got a news.
And this is one of two notable times. He's come after Kaitlan many times, but the last time he asked her, he said, why don't you smile? She was asking about sexual assault survivors in the Epstein files. No sane person with empathy would smile when asking about that. And then this was an incredibly important question about this so-called IRS slush fund that many Americans are worried about and that Senate Republicans are up in arms about. Her job is to stay stoic, as she always does, and ask the questions. Where I semi-agree with Sunny is when the question... When the question isn't answered, that's when journalists should jump in and ask the same question to get the American people the news.
Yes, I agree. But I think what sets Kaitlan Collins apart is we have seen people, maybe not in the White House like that, but reporters and people that are journalists that do take the bait. Her ability to keep her face like not even a scoff or a little reaction is really what sets her apart, because she stayed so central focused on what her job was there and didn't take the very easy bait. He's used to the reactive because he's reactive.
Let me give you a dirty little secret, is he insults people. Like, I've had lots of friends who are reporters. He insults very specifically by name, calling them all kinds of names on Truth Social or whatever. And says, I've never heard of that person. I've been at dinner with them, the phone rings, it's Donald Trump. I'm like, hey, girl. And it's like, it's such fakery and wrestling and stuff like that. And so don't believe. I mean, he's using this as a tactic to hurt the press. This is what he's doing. And the numbers will go down because of it, and people distrust the press. This is a tactic.
He's also running down the clock because he doesn't have anything to say. When you don't have substance and you can't answer a question, you go for personal attack.
And it's such an important point that Kara makes. His attacks on the mainstream media. I saw them in the first term. We're seeing them again now. But nobody is more reliant on the mainstream media than Donald Trump.
Well,
he calls our John Carl. He calls Kaitlan Collins. He does actually understand the power of the objective media that does its best to be driven by facts and to get the news to the American public. He's stacked the White House press briefing room with a lot of outlets that are very loyal to him. But, you know, the My Pillow guy, whoever's reporting for them, that's not changing American public opinion. It's not useful in the way that information that comes from ABC, from CNN, and these outlets is actually impactful and sways public opinion.
It really does. And, you know, listen, they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You saw all the stuff going on in Alabama. I want to remind people of something. Just because your district has been gerrymandered doesn't mean you don't go vote.
Right.
You still can go vote for your candidate. Please keep that in mind, because I think one of the reasons that they talk about it the way they do is to make people think that, well, there's no reason, it's just all Republicans. That's not so. Go vote. Go vote. Go vote.